Today we are with Rebekah Mui, 15 going on 16, who's going to show us how to bake brownies. Personally, I've been a big fan of brownies, but I've never tried, so let's learn it today.
The first step is to preheat the oven to 180. Make sure it's on the bake function because you don't want to grill the brownies. I've done it before. The rack should be near the center of the oven so the brownies will bake more evenly. If you're using a bigger pan, you can put an extra rack on top, so that it will be evenly baked. The first step is to prepare the cake pan. I save butter paper to grease because there's plenty of grease still left in the paper itself. You have to cut 2 parchment rounds out of tracing paper or any kind of parchment paper that will help the cake release from the pan. You can also use a spray if you don't have extra butter papers. Now because chocolate will adhere to the grease, it will still adhere. You will have to flour the pan. Just tap in a little bit and just tap it around. Just coat the sides. You can use any kind of flour, but preferably not self-rising. If the flour has been sifted already, it will be better. Now all the ingredients are ready. You have to use cooking chocolate. Just put some water, 1 cup, 236 grams, into the pan to boil. Now I measure my butter. It has been softened already, but that's not really necessary because you will have to put it in the hot chocolate and it will melt with the chocolate and water. I'm measuring out 230 grams of salted butter. Dissolve this. Now that the water has come to a boil, you just simply add in the chocolate. You have to be careful because it's boiling. I'll just put it back on the fire. The chocolate and water will really blend together and combine, and it'll be really nice and smooth. Then we'll add in the butter and it'll be like icing and you will want to eat it now, but you have to bake it. Now I will have to sift the flour. I sift it straight and weigh at the same time. 2 things at one go. Weighing the flour is a lot better and more accurate than using cups. You just aerate it a little. You need 280 grams of this. All-purpose. Don't use self-rising. It'll turn into a cake instead of a brownie. This brownie doesn't rise very much. Oh, I'll go and check the cake. It should go down to a simmer now, but if it boils, it's still okay. Now, it's so liquid and the chocolate is not fully melted in yet. Okay, now it's slightly thickened already, but it's still very watery. You can see when you pour it down, the bubbles form. So you have to cook until it's so glossy and thick and black. Cooking the chocolate with water will just bring out all the flavors of the chocolate. Now I want to break the eggs. Some people like to crack it on the table. And some people just like a sharp tap here. Oof! I think I like the table better. You don't have to use very fresh eggs because you don't need to separate the eggs. Oh, 6 of these. Now it's black and glossy. I think what happens is the water evaporates while it cooks down, like boiling down the sauce. So it'll be really thick and there'll be much less of it later on. Now, sugar, eggs and sugar. I will need to whisk it. If your chocolate still has some time to cook, you can wait because the eggs whisk really fast, but they deflate very fast also. It's not done yet. If the eggs will have been all foamed up, much thicker, but if you don't have a mixer to whisk it, you can just whisk it by hand, but it takes so long. Okay, this is quite done. You form little ribbons like that. If you want the brownie cake to be a bit higher, you can just whisk it more, or you can whisk it less. Now what will happen is it'll sink down again, so I will have to whisk that a little bit more later. Now it's starting to drop from the pan, but it's thick and it's black, and it can't really coat the back of the spoon. Now this is finally done. It's so smooth, and when you leave it there, it sort of puddles, and you can even draw on it with that. So it's so smooth and thick, and this is the stage where you want to add in the butter. Now when you first put the butter in, it's going to separate a little bit, and it looks kind of weird, feathery. Then you just mix it a little bit, and they all join together, just like frosting. When you put the chocolate on top of the butter, it kind of just slides down like a slide. You have to mix it and stir it, and it will join together. If you forget to put the butter in, the chocolate already cooled down, you can just return it to the fire for a few minutes. And now I want to check if the eggs are fine. Just want to whisk them a bit. The minute it's done, the bubbles should start to rise to the surface slowly. You want to check underneath, just in case the top is done. It can form into ribbons. Now I just want to add the chocolate chips to the flour so that we can mix it all together. But you don't have to mix it, you just add it in together. Okay, now this is mixed. You can see that it's so glossy, it's so smooth, and just drips down like that. Okay. Okay, you don't need to wash this before making the icing because you will need the pan again. And it didn't have raw eggs, so it's safe to use for icing. Flour, chocolate chips. Folding is like this, you lift it up and then you just push it back again. You see the eggs are deflating, the bubbles are rising to the surface because it has to combine with the flour. So long as all the flour is incorporated, and you see the chocolate chips will always sink to the bottom. Now it's done. You can see the batter is lumpy, not so nice and glossy like the chocolate just now. I like to weigh the pans to make sure they are evenly distributed. About 500 grams each. If you leave this here, you burn the sides. So you have to prepare cake strips to prevent the cake from doming. Then you can't layer it. So you just have to take newspaper, fold it in half, and then in thirds. You just want to make sure they're the right height. You need about 4 pieces, unless you're using a Chinese newspaper because they are much longer. See, it sticks. If you wet it enough, it will stick.